Hello and welcome to another episode of What Sense Does That Make? Lincolnshire woman jailed for killing and eating pet hamster. Interestingly, there's a warning at the start of this article that reads, "This article contains graphic details which some readers may find upsetting." We'll find out what the upsetting content is, why this would upset people, and why this might be confusing for a vegan to read.
Ooh, here we go.
A woman who was filmed killing and eating her pet hamster has been jailed for 12 months. Videos of Emma Parker cutting the animal with a knife while it was still alive were circulated online, prompting an RSPCA investigation. Very interesting how it prompted an RSPCA investigation. Given that the RSPCA sign off on maceration of chicks, the gassing of pigs, and the methods that are used in standard practice in order to exploit and kill animals, it's very interesting how they have a problem with it, because they're called the Royal Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals. They're very selective about the prevention that they decide to engage in. She admitted at Lincoln Crown Court one charge of causing unnecessary suffering to a protected animal. What's so special about hamsters that's not special also about chickens, cows, and pigs? A hamster isn't some magical animal who is more sentient and can experience more pain, more pleasure than, say, a cow, chicken, or pig. Very interesting how we live in this world where vegans are the weird ones for seeing a sentient being as someone who is deserving of moral rights. But we live in this world where some animals are kind of protected, others aren't. There's no real rhyme or reason to precisely why this is the case. I mean, it's weird to call them a protected animal anyway, because the pet trade is so awful. These animals are at heavy risk for being exploited and brought into existence so people can buy them from a shop. I wouldn't feel very protected if I were a hamster myself. Courthouse Parker of Belvoir Gardens of Great Gonaby, Lincolnshire, was addicted to Class A drugs. Gotta add that in, don't you, BBC? A vet who watched the footage described the content as deeply disturbing and said the pet, which was named Mr. Nibbles, would have suffered both physical and psychological damage as hamsters were prey animals which could feel fear. I am really in two minds right now. One is like, what the hell is wrong with this woman? Like, why the hell would you be doing this to an animal? And then my other part is, well, why would she think that it's a problem when we cause psychological damage and physical damage to trillions of animals every single year? During a police interview, Parker admitted the video was of her and claimed she was helping the hamster to die after it had been bitten by one of her dogs. Parker said the incident took place at her home in mid-May, but refused to name those filming the footage, telling police they are not nice people. Well, they must be really not nice if you're calling them not nice, damn. Passing sentence Judge James House KC told Parker he had to take into account that Parliament had recently raised the maximum sentence for such animal cruelty from 6 months to 5 years imprisonment. He said it was abhorrent that violence had been inflicted on defenseless animal for others' entertainment. Yeah, isn't it disgusting when for others' entertainment animals are subjugated to exploitation, to killing, and to violence?
That's what we've just been saying.
I really hope that Judge James didn't go on to have a full English breakfast that wasn't vegan after this court hearing.
That would be awkward.
The hamster was injured at least twice and then, while alive, still cut in half, the judge said. It might be poignant to point out that if you do have a problem with this, then have a look at methods that are actually permitted by charities such as RSPCA. Two other animals. You are then seen holding a bottle of water and eating 2 halves of the dissected hamster. That's so weird. Like, so many non-vegans who are anti-vegan say to me in a defense that as long as you eat an animal, it doesn't really matter what you do to them. You can kill them, you can do what you want, as long as you're getting a use from them, like sustenance. But we're accepting now this is abhorrent violence, right? Judge House also banned Parker from keeping animals for 15 years, saying her cruelty had been as serious as could be. A lot of people aren't equipped to look after animals, and this woman definitely is not. Speaking after the sentencing, RSPCA Inspector Andy Bostock said, "We share the public's revulsion at this horrific incident, and we'd like to thank the police for their support in this investigation. This type of cruelty has no place in today's society and was a heartless, vicious attack on a defenseless animal."
I find it interesting you would say that.
It's really weird because I've been to farms and I've seen these defenseless animals suffering from diseases, injuries, in conditions that aren't good for them whatsoever, that don't have their well-being in mind, and they're going to be sent off to be killed. They were defenseless. They were bred into existence with the purpose of being used for someone's entertainment, i.e. being used for food when we could use plant-based products instead. Especially in the UK, where many of these plant-based alternatives are actually now cheaper. And I completely agree, this type of cruelty has no place in today's society. If we want to go around saying that we're civilized, then breeding billions of animals into into existence with the purpose of exploiting them and of killing them so that we can use their bodies or their secretions has no place at all. And I understand it's annoying when a vegan comes along and they're like, oh, look at this bad thing that happened to an animal, but what about all these other things that happens to animals?
Pretentious? Who isn't pretentious? I mean,
but if you do have a problem with this, then it shows that you're thinking like someone who is vegan thinks. You are understanding that these animals have the ability to experience. Therefore, doing something that would typically harm a human would also harm other animals. For the same reason you think this violence is abhorrent, so too should you believe that the violence inflicted upon animals in animal agriculture, in animal testing, and in all the other many forms of entertainment that forcibly include other animals, these are abhorrent too. Let me know what you think down below of this story. Like, when I see stories like this, it is kind of irritating. It's also good in a way because it shows that the general population, they don't want to stand for violence against animals. They want to see, you know, they don't like people like that in their society who want to inflict cruelty upon animals. It's just when they're directly involved in an industry that does essentially the exact same thing to other animals, but even on a huge scale, not just one animal, but trillions of animals. They start making cases for why it ought be justified, but deep down, they know it's not. But it is irritating to know that people have that understanding, yet they jump to the defense of something that fundamentally they don't agree with. But thank you so much for watching. I do hope you're well. And until next time, salad. I will see you soon.